Evening, everybody. Welcome back to the latest installment in the Byzantian Brews podcast. Woo! We have
Yes,
returned.
welcome back.
Yes, with your host, Kato Jacksack and Byzantian Dev. We are returning on 102.169 Byzantian Brews Radio.
Yeah. How's everyone's week's been?
Yes, my week has been. It's been all right. It's not been tremendously eventful. Um, though I've been slowly working on art projects ready for vaguely next weekend in the ballpark thereof. I've got printing to do again for my custom cards, so that's
Right.
something I'm focusing on. What about yourself? How have you been getting along this week?
Been honestly very busy.
Ah,
Very busy. Uh, so it's been. I've just finished day 4 of a 4-day string of events. So I'm finally sitting down to relax.
hey,
So it feels good. It's been worth it though. Because I've been found yet
hmm,
more volunteering can potentially do later in the year.
nice.
Uh, yeah. So most of them are for the hospice.
Hmm.
The one was for the guide dogs.
Hey,
That was really lovely, to be fair. The heat was dreadful.
hmm,
Suit or no suit, because you know, yeah, because we're British and it's summer and we complain about it because we are good in temperate conditions and no warmer or colder.
yeah, and it feels like the temperate seasons are getting shorter and shorter with each passing year.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Our
Yeah,
British perceptions.
yeah, we like mild weather.
Yes.
Nothing more than that. Saying that, people come out for the sun, so that was handy.
Hmm.
And I did make some potential acquaintances, and I definitely made a few dog friends yesterday. That was
Yay.
cute.
Dogger friends.
Yeah, they had this puppy that's still in training,
Aw.
and she was so they're socializing there for the public, I guess.
Hmm.
And she does this adorable thing. Um, she does this naturally this thing where she figured out that people wanted uh fuss her and give her pets.
Hmm.
What she does is when you do that, she will put her paw out on your arm
Aw.
to give you pets. It's so cute.
Aw. So,
Uh,
yes, pet the human.
yeah, it's just something she does. I just think that's adorable.
Hmm.
So, and then today was honestly just down the road, Sutton Park. They
Hmm.
needed Home Hospice needed their mascot rolled out again, so I did the business
Sounds
until
good.
like 9 till 1. Yeah. Oh, and the run because it's been two
Oh
weeks, hasn't it?
yes, the big fun
Yes,
run.
the 10K run. The first
Yes.
one's been and gone. Um, that went well. Um, so I finished in about 1 hour 44:55,
Nice.
which was way quicker than I was expecting. That's 4 minutes off last year's.
Hmm.
And actually, I found out more about it today, actually, like a week after the fact.
Wow.
So it came second in the mascot race.
Yep.
Beat all the footy mascots, beat the old BCU mascot.
Hmm.
Um, and I later found out today that the guy who was the children's hospital mascot for the race,
Yep.
same performer who did Perry the Bull back in like 2 years ago.
Oh.
So I technically beat him in that, which that's just funny.
You
So
beat you
that was cool
beat
though.
the champion of Birmingham himself.
Technically, yes. Um, yeah. th- So that was a ridiculously hot day. Loved
Hmm.
it. I've already signed up to do it again because I could pay 48 quid
Yeah.
for it for next year, or I could pay 27 now.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So that's what I've done. So really,
Speaking.
I haven't had that much time to sit down. So carry
Yeah.
on.
Speaking of paying for things, I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to. I'm going to get my ticket for UK Games Expo.
Hey,
And I
when the
thought
sa-
if I can figure out how it works, perhaps we could
yeah,
do our podcast live at the event next time when we're there.
I'm keen. We have we've got quite a while to figure it out.
Yeah, we might do our first Byzantian Brews live. That might be incredible. Oh,
I'm okay with that.
yeah. And I think I figured
Yeah.
out my cosplay for the event. I've got to buy some stuff though.
Oh,
I'm
fantastic.
gonna do serial killer. Where's Wally? So I'm gonna grab
I love it.
yeah, I'm gonna grab like
I love.
the hat, possibly like a PVC foam cane. See if I can get some like fake blood or something, or at the very least some like sort of red contacts to make my eyes look red.
That's. Oh no, I love it.
I just have this sort
I
of
love that.
evil grin the entire
Uh,
time. Where am
I love
I?
how that's.
Oh, find me
The
before I
police will
kill
never find
again.
me.
Better find
Police will never find me.
yeah. Better find the 4 bombs I planted around the riverside. Ooh.
Joker, where's Joker?
Where's Joker? Because I was watching this sort of like YouTube short series, like this like idea of a creepy pasta slash haunted copy of like an old like Game Boy Color Where's Wally
Oh,
game, and
those
Wally is
ones.
like this supernatural murder entity. It's really so that sounds like a good idea for a costume. Just serial killer Wally.
And I love that will be very just cosplay for fun because we have not remotely thought about what this will look like, the two of us
Yeah,
together. To be honest, I'm
just
going as Evie.
yeah, that's kind of the juxtaposition, isn't it?
It's serial killer. Love it. Um, but I'm looking forward to that. I haven't checked if they're going to be there,
Yeah,
but remember the guys I sometimes watch from No Rolls Barred who do
yeah.
like they're attending the event.
Hey,
So might get to hit them do a talk. So that I think that's gonna be worth the trip by itself, I think.
yeah.
And I'm saving up some cash for it because every time I do these charity events and I have to go to travel to these places by
Hmm.
train or something. And on occasion, if I have to taxi it, I can get that reimbursed
Fair enough.
in cash.
Nice.
So rather than spend money while I'm there,
Hmm.
I'm gonna you know all the money that I've managed to get back reimbursed, I'll just hold on to it
Yeah,
until the first of June
makes sense.
and just spend that.
Hmm.
Oh, not a bad gig at all.
Yeah. And I will be bringing my custom MTG cards if people want to take purchase of those, because while there's not an official Magic event going on at UK Games Expo, there's usually a few
Right.
people playing Magic there.
Yes. The one thing I would recommend though is that they do have a policy on bags.
Ah,
Which I've been warned about. You can't take bags in.
that's
You can leave them in the leave them in
interesting.
like
Hmm.
there's a room where you can put your bags and stuff,
Uh-huh.
but you can't take them in with you.
Ah, what can you take in
Uh,
with you?
I would check on the website, but I've been warned about that.
Ah, because it would stand to
Oh,
reason,
uh,
because I know that like there's like official One Piece and things events there. Like surely people have to be able to take something in if they're doing a tournament there. You would think.
yes. I'll check the website again, but I've been
Yeah,
warned by several people about
yeah,
that. And that many people won't be willing to
yeah.
weirdly lie about that.
And if
So we
you, yeah,
sorry, I'm sorry.
and if you guys at home want to check and ask and potentially meet either of us, any fans of the channel, you can join our Discord, which will be in the description on Twitch or the description of this video. Join the Discord and ask us about the upcoming event. I guess.
Yes. Right. Without further ado, should we get stuck in?
Yes. So our wait, where's my schedule? Where's my thing? Right. So initial fumbles, sure. Initial ramblings
That was
over.
initial fumble.
Tabletop book club. What you got for us this week?
Oh, this week I have something which I've been rereading. Um,
Oh.
I say rereading, but it's an add-on to a book I got way back when fifth edition was new.
Hmm.
Um, What I'd say it's like I'd argue it's one of the last good books that Wizards of the Coast ever actually put out,
Wow.
and most of it was because it was based off an already established good thing from fifth edition.
Hmm.
So the Lost Mines of Pandora, like the very first fifth edition uh, adventure module.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they re-released that, but they actually added bits to it, like a lot to it,
Hmm.
and it gets like really mind flayery. Then I actually quite like it. Like for once, Wizard of the Coast doesn't do an oopsie because it's still Lost Mines of Pandora. That's fine. Anyone can play it. It's really good introductory stuff. But then it gets really weird and sort of body horror-y, and I kind of like the vibe of it.
Yeah.
Um, I actually really like that book. Um, it's classic like high fantasy. Like you can tell it's before Wizard of the Coast started getting weird.
Uh-huh.
I really appreciate. It's a little generic, but it's perfectly generic.
Mm.
Um, it's not like generic boring. It's generic. I can enjoy this and not really worry too much about it.
Yeah.
Classic D&D literally begins with fighting goblins. You do that for quite a bit,
Mm.
and I kind of like, and I kind of like that old school start once in a while.
Hmm.
Um,
Something a bit more sort of
so,
boots to the ground, down to the earth
oh
type of
yes, yeah,
this is D&D at its absolute core.
yeah, it is. And the new stuff that they did add is really well hinted at early on.
Mm.
It's not like shoved in your face. It's just like they've added a few NPC like dialogue boxes if
Yeah.
if characters ask about it.
Ah.
So it's not even like so they really incorporate it very nicely. So by the time you do get done with the whole glass staff stuff
Yeah.
and hit level 5, and you have like half a clue already,
Mm.
and you've already been sort of hearing about what the next bit will be about, which
Yeah.
is really maybe a different team worked on it or something. It just doesn't feel like Wizards of the Coast as I understand them.
Mm.
Maybe there was one strike and there was like the competent teams were in that day. It's a really well-rounded book.
Mm.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but if I was going to run something for completely new players, that's what I'd default to for D&D.
Mm.
It's just yeah, honestly, very solid book. I'd go so far to say it's the last one of, if not the last good Wizards of the Coast era D&D book.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have we picked up for this week?
I haven't got anything, unfortunately. I'm kind of waiting until I go to the
Okay.
convention to pick up some new books, to be honest, because I don't have any new material, unfortunately. And I
Okay.
still
Well,
can't find my
we
copy of The
will.
Sundering. It's somewhere.
Oh,
But I might try
you've
and pick
sundered it
up
somewhere.
some more if it's any good. I might pick up some more of Gav Thorpe's work.
Oh yeah.
As Gav
Oh,
Thorpe seems to be
the
very
Warhammer
competent. Yeah, seems to be a
former
very
Warhammer designer guy.
competent
Oh, another guy.
writer.
Oh yeah, got a pedigree there.
But I guess we can move.
He knows what he's about.
Yeah, we can move straight
Yeah, moving on. Right.
into critical fumble. Do we have a critical fumble this
Uh,
week?
well, I have one. Yes. Yes, I may not be buying much from Games Workshop because of they're deciding to jack up the prices again, which is
Oh,
always good news.
lovely.
Yeah. I just checked the date when they're
Mm,
supposed to be implemented. I think it's June. But yeah, they are yeah, price right. They're raising the price yet again.
yeah.
And they've done it again. Yeah, so they've done it like twice this year. So yeah, my decision to buy third party and from third party vendors is going to very much carry on after this.
Mm-hmm. Understandable.
And it's not too far after the whole debacle with hiring weirdo activist people to write some of their books that,
Yeah.
no, it is a nice popular move. So the thing they're trying to compete with Hasbro at this point.
Yeah, like
Okay,
Hasbro's
who can get to the
corporate end.
bottom first?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
could we screw ourselves over?
It's okay. They'll buy Forge World. Wait, we're just going to price gouge that as well.
Yeah, and we're also going to scrap a bunch of Forge World stuff because that makes sense.
Hang on. Before that, there was AOS, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So they gouged half the armies out of that too.
Yep. And then decided, yeah, we'll bring back some of the armies and things in Old World, but we won't update the models at all, despite the fact that the reason why we said we were
Oh
gouging away
no.
half the armies was so that we can update models in other armies. Yeah, because that makes sense.
Yes, Games Workshop was having a very corporate time at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, saying that though, I did receive a nice gift. This is humble adjacent, I suppose.
Hmm.
So with Brett Slot that sometimes run D&D with.
Yes.
Um, they didn't have to do this. The two of them put some money in, and they got me one of the new Imperial Guard tanks, which
Ooh.
is a very very nice new model, and it has a disgusting stat line, guns for days. So that was nice of them.
Yeah.
I love the models, and I love what the brand used to be when I was like 13. But
Yeah.
I'm very if it's I'll put it this way, if it's no longer stuff they no longer sell and it's on eBay,
Mm.
or if I'm at Warhammer World for some reason
Yeah.
and it's in the Lord of the Rings metal section or something,
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to buy it from the source anymore.
Mm.
It's just not worth the cost. It's becoming just not worth the cost. It's like Disneyland now.
Yeah. Yeah.
The prices are only going up, so it's just the people that just can't get into the hobby.
Mm. Yeah, I completely understand that.
A case in point as well. Um, last week I found a copy of I was in Wayland's Forge
Yep.
and I found a box of old issue Warhammer stuff,
Mhm.
the old Goblin Regiment,
Yeah.
so the pre-Night Goblin stuff, for 20 quid
Mm.
in the box, untouched. And that kind of put it into context. Like, there are people getting to Age of Sigmars and stuff,
Yeah, it's like
or rebuying Old World.
yeah, it's like
And it's like some of these. Yeah, sorry,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's like the Skaven unit I bought that I still need to build and paint on stream at some point. I bought the old box set, which admittedly wasn't boxed, but it was it's all there, and that was like 21 quid
Yeah.
rather than spending 25 to 30 on a box of new Skaven, which are near enough the same molds anyway. Why would I pay
Yeah,
more
it's,
for clan
yeah.
rats?
Especially the Old World as well. And it's a nice box
Hmm.
because it's like Orcs and Goblins as I remember them. But you're
Yeah.
paying new Games Workshop pricing for a lot of models, admittedly. But it's it's like it's all the old sculpts
Yeah.
that you probably bought for half the price when they were new.
Hmm. Because it's not like the production cost has gone up much. Because at the end of the day, it's not like you're paying anybody for the design because you've already done that. You already paid for the design and the R&D work 10, 15 years
Same old
ago.
boys, same old goblins,
Yeah.
same old chariots as well.
You're not really
Yeah,
paying the law people much either because
you're
Skaven
paying the
law hasn't really
executives that work
changed
for
a
them.
whole lot either.
The same with Orcs has been like the same since forever.
Hmm.
That's why they keep selling though,
Yeah.
because they're just uncomplicated. No, but they're beginning to like honestly price people out of the hobby,
Hmm.
and I kind of don't want to help that. So if we're going to buy the stuff, it's going to be third party or elsewhere. I just can't morally justify it at this point.
Hmm.
Or
So,
or the goods or second hand stuff. So yes,
yeah.
that's a fumble and a half. I think that's four in there really.
Yeah. So, my critical fumble for this week is guess who's back in the critical fumble news again?
Oh, it has, bro.
It's Wizards specifically. Uh,
Hey,
because
magic related.
yep, because they've released announced their secret
Hey,
lair super drops for a bit, which not only have their own problem of
Right.
they're not print to demand anymore, which is one problem. So a bunch of them, the previous ones, the first wave sort of sold out immediately, so no one can get them except scalpers who already have them and are selling at stupid prices. But also, some
Yeah.
of the secret layers are better than others because we have one secret layer which is an April Fool's one, right? Good value on cards,
Right.
but the typeface and font are in mixed uppercase, lowercase Comic Sans, like that SpongeBob meme. So no one can
Oh, right.
fuck. So if you have any kind of reading difficulty, you can't read them. So you can't
Oh,
really
right.
use them in tournament play. I mean, you can legally use them in tournament play, but you can't really use them in tournament play because how if your opponent potentially won't be able to read them.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a shame because people are saying that the art for them is really good, and it's kind of marred by the fact it's a funny joke, in the wording. And then you have a few which are just not good value, and then they've done the first of the Hatsune Miku secret layers they're going to do, which the
Cool.
card value in terms of reprints simply isn't there. They've reprinted a common for some reason, bearing in mind these sets go for like $30-$40. So why would I want to buy a card that's a common worth 10 cents, even if it's got nice art? And there's ruminations and rumblings that at least one of the Miku artworks was made by AI. Again, after Wizard of the Coast said, yeah, we're not going to use AI,
I
don't
told
worry
on
about
last
it.
time.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
there we go
Okay.
again.
But wasn't the problem with the Thunder Canyon stuff too?
Yes,
Remember you
so
were
Outlaws of
saying.
Thunder Junction, people were like,
Yeah.
yeah, stop.
They have a track record.
Yeah, they have a terrible, terrible track record of doing just stupid things.
What?
But
But doesn't Magic make like stupid amounts of money for them as well?
yes, it and Dungeons Dragons are what are keeping Hasbro afloat.
They're getting out
Not
of
just
toys now.
Wizards, but
I
Hasbro
hear rumors.
itself.
I hear they're trying to get out of the toy business for some reason.
Yeah. Probably because no one wants to buy their toys anymore. Because kids, I don't think, are buying them. And the collectors are just like, I prefer the old stuff because the new stuff you're designing it mostly for kids rather than for collectors. And the few collectors things you're making are ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, from what I have been hearing, the quality of the plastic is just less,
Yeah,
um, which doesn't help. But also, they're making toys for franchises that people don't like anymore.
yeah.
Like I've heard stories from the US, loads of like Walmarts and stuff full of Star Wars toys nobody wants.
Yeah, because people have
Um,
the
full of Doctor Who
collectors.
toys
Yeah,
nobody
because
likes.
like the collectors have their collection of the old stuff that they like. There aren't really many
Oh
new
yeah, yeah,
collectors of the newer stuff because no one cares.
yeah. People are still buying 80s He-Man and She-Ra stuff.
Yeah,
Which yeah, people still like those. Same with old Star Wars. People still buy the old trilogy character, you know, pieces because
mm,
that they are universally liked. You know.
yeah,
Meanwhile, you have loads of Rays and loads of Kylo Rens just sitting in Walmarts gathering dust.
yeah. Because it's all like the new trilogy stuff. Well, it's not like it's like no one cares about the new trilogy. No one cares. Uh,
Yeah, so long story short, they're not doing well.
yeah. Because it's even things like, oh, we're trying to like revive Cluedo and stuff, and like move on. The Cluedo
Ooh,
generation is, there's not a new Cluedo
yeah,
generation. No one plays. Very few people play Cluedo anymore.
yeah,
Make a
as
new
someone that
board
likes
game.
board games, and, I can kind of admit that the kids now probably aren't into board games.
Yeah, and the people who are into board games aren't generally playing the mainstream board games. They're playing independent
Yes,
stuff.
because they found their own weirdo niche ones they like.
Yeah. And it's new and exciting. It's not
Yeah,
something that they've played with their parents like a fucking million times. And don't care about anymore, or that has a billion versions like
The,
Monopoly.
to be fair, Monopoly, I think, is getting a second life online
Yeah, because
because
of video games and
because of
stuff. Yeah,
stuff like no rolls barred is just
yeah.
they keep taking Monopoly and they add new rules and weird twists to it.
Hmm.
So they're doing more than Hasbro's doing, and there's some funny comedy YouTube channel.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
when an
So yeah.
independent YouTube channel is doing more than your entire company at at doing your product, you really need to take a deep inward look at what you're
Probably,
doing with your life.
probably should examine their business practices just a
Yeah.
little bit.
So,
Yeah.
from a negative to a positive, or possibly a negative and a
Yes.
positive, it's homebrew of the week.
Okay. I've been quite busy on this because I've had some time to do some stuff.
Ah,
I've been writing for Talislanta for a bit anyway,
nice.
and I have found a bit of inspiration lately.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I got into speculative biology, which is
Ooh,
fun. It's basically a less real sciencey way of just looking at animals,
yeah.
or a hard science way of looking at fantasy creatures, which is really great.
Ah.
So basically, the whole idea was, what if biology didn't do what we know it does now? Um,
Mm-hmm.
People just design weird stuff based around that concept. So I've come up with a whole lovely list, and I've got a good one that I think will kick this off. Let's open it up. And it just so happens to fit into Talislanta really well because it's all about weird animals and like prehistoric looking things.
Yeah.
Um, just open up my unofficial monster manual for a second. Right. So I designed this little thing which I call a saber hoof. Which so
Aw.
the basic idea is, what if horses evolved to become predatory rather than herbivorous?
Interesting.
So that yeah. Um, so the initial idea was they but they're very much like horses as we know them initially, like a few generations back.
Hmm.
But what happened is they kept on, because they're herbivores. They keep getting preyed on by a few things that can actually keep up with them.
Mm-hmm.
So they get defensive, and they start really learning to hate particular animals because that primarily hunt them.
Yeah.
Um, but as the generations go on, they start to weirdly hold a grudge against that certain predator type,
Hmm.
to the point where they stop being defensive, and they start developing canine fangs just to actually start hunting them. And this happens over like theoretical millions of years because
yeah.
nature is nice and slow like that. Um, so what was they doing the same with? So basically, it's a predatory horse with fangs. Um, they're not massively high CR. They're only CR1,
Yeah.
but they do have a few neat little traits to them. For low level parties, they can be fairly dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave it like, so they can hit and run, for instance. So it's like a variation of the charge rules.
Yeah.
Um, in fact, if it rather than knocking stuff prone when it charges, it can move 20 feet in a straight line,
Mm-hmm.
make a bite attack. If it's successful, it can re-roll one of the damage dice. It has to use the second result.
Yeah.
And if that attack is successful, if it moves away from from the target that it hit on the same turn, doesn't provoke opportunity attacks.
Ah. So kind of like
And
I don't know.
they
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like U-turn and Volt Switch, but D&D. It's just like
Yeah.
I'm hitting you and getting the heck out of here.
Yep. Keep in mind they have a move speed of 60 feet, like a
Hmm.
regular warhorse.
Hmm.
They're fast, and they just nip you and they just run away. Um, and they're not massively dangerous, but they do deal what 1d8 base damage piercing,
Hmm.
which is quite nasty. And of course, because they're horses, they get a kick. Is 1d8 bludgeoning,
Hmm.
which actually does have knockdown. But it also has a trait that they only put into Talislanta, which I think is fantastic,
Yeah.
where if certain, usually it's for tail attacks, but works for hooves just as well. If the target of the attack is directly behind the thing making the attack, it's not an action. It's a bonus action.
That makes sense.
I just think it's a really neat rule that the third party thing put in. So I gave it that as well. Um, so that was just like one of my early ideas for just a speculative evolution monster, and I just thought it would fit in a lot of different biomes
Hmm.
and be a fun alternative to horses
Oh.
that's a little bit more distinct and not necessarily the hardest to get models for if you're creatively inclined that way.
Yeah, because all you need to do really is modify a horse slightly.
Yep, give it fangs or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got so that's what I've rolled over this week. What have you got?
So I've got an item that I call the Tragic Coin, because I wanted to make a wondrous item for a change.
Whoa.
Kind of inspired by yourself and some things you said. I wanted to make an item that was cursed, but also is
Oh,
useful
that's
despite
useful.
being
That's
cursed. So it's a wondrous
Oh,
item. Comes in 5 different varieties. So you've got common types are common, copper and silver. Electrum and gold are the uncommon types, and platinum is rare type. Again, fitting the 5 different denominations of coins. But obviously, a
right.
platinum coin is generally more useful than a copper coin, for example. But it has a few
Yes.
abilities. It does require attunement. Um, it says the attuned user may use one of the following per day, starting at dawn. So it has Liar's Coin.
Right.
This coin may be flipped to activate this ability. When flipped, the attuned user may choose, effectively sort of mentally, for the coin to always land on
Yeah.
heads or tails for 1 minute. So you can kind of rig coin flips is the idea.
Oh, okay.
The second ability is Infinite Wealth in brackets. Um, the user may use this coin as full or part payment for a product or service. At the next dawn, this coin returns to the attuned user, leaving behind a normal, mundane duplicate coin of the same type where it was. So it's not like you're stealing with extra steps. It's almost like
Right.
I get a free coin every day, effectively, if I use that particular ability. The third ability you can
Okay.
use is Pay to Live. The attuned user may use a bonus action or reaction to bite the coin, gaining +1 to their armor class for a number of turns equal to the coin's value. So based on like the 100 value. So copper is 1, silver is 10, electrum's 50,
Right.
etc., etc., etc.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's based on turns, not rounds, so you have to count each turn. So in a big combat with a lot of things, it's less effective.
Okay.
Lucky, and then
And
the
what's
final
the
ability you can use is called Lucky Coin. The attuned user may press
right?
the coin against a willing creature, including themselves. That creature gains 1 luck point for each coin it is worth more than. So, for example, a silver coin would give you 2 luck points, an electrum coin would give you 3, etc., etc., because it's a minimum of 1, and may use luck points as if they have the lucky feat.
Oh, that's really powerful.
Now you may
That's
wonder, with
very
all these
powerful.
abilities and on one thing, and you can choose to do one per day. What's the downside? Well, when
Yeah. Where does
used,
this go horribly wrong?
yeah, the tragic coin will bestow a random curse to the attuned person. It can be random
Oh.
each time. Use the following table as an example, but feel free to use tables such as the Wild Magic table or any custom random curse table you might have in a book or on D&D Beyond or whatever. So
Oh
the list
no.
I've provided is Bad Night's Sleep. At dawn the next day, this is a D10 table. At dawn the next day, the attuned user takes 1 point of exhaustion. That's sort of, that's on the
Oh.
low end. Things get worse from here. And some of them are
Okay.
based on the abilities. So unlucky, attuned user secretly gains 1 unluck point, which the DM may use to make the
Oh
attuned
no.
user re-roll 1 otherwise successful roll.
Okay.
Number 3, we have animal magnetism. Until the next dawn, all creatures of the beast category will regard the attuned as an enemy and act according to
Oh,
accordingly based on their nature. So birds might flee, domestic animals might hiss, bark, or moo at them, and large prey animals will be unnaturally hostile.
oh God.
The
I like that one. That's quite
Yeah.
fun.
If you roll a 4, you get smug face. Until the next dawn,
Is that new?
the attuned user
God.
secretly has a -2 to charisma and appears to look smug and
Just don't
otherwise
tell
full
them.
of themselves to all observers. You know that really like the archetypal smug bastard kind of thing. So, ooh.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it gives like a negative to like the charisma, and they always look smug, even if they're otherwise not looking smug. They appear smug for the rest of the day. We have number 5. Nothing's free these days. Until the next dawn, the attuned user automatically fails barter checks, and all items cost 10% more. So they cannot haggle, and stuff will always cost more.
Oh, that's fun.
Number 6, they don't make them like they used to. For the next 1d6 plus 2 hours, all items the attuned user uses have a chance to break and/or, depending on if you're using this, items they use take twice as much durability damage if you're using stuff like durability damage.
Oh.
It's kind of like the idea of like, pig iron weapons. Oh, they don't make them like they used to. You bought a bad weapon or whatever. Number 7,
Okay.
number 7 is something fishy is occurring. The attuned user reeks like rotting fish until the next dawn, attracting any vermin in a
Oh.
60-foot radius. That includes rats,
Okay.
flies, etc.
Pigeons.
Yeah. Number 8 is prone to
Okay.
illness. For the next 7 days, the
Oh.
attuned user has disadvantage on saves versus diseases and their effects. This curse can stack. So if you abuse it and you constantly roll high, you might have a problem.
Just
Yeah.
okay. So presumably you tell the player the day after as well.
Hmm.
Oh, that's fun.
Well,
I like
the
that.
idea is that the you don't, for most of these you don't tell them. You don't tell them what curse they have. They have to figure it out.
But oh, that's fun. I know
Uh,
a lot of players that would use this and fuck themselves
yeah.
over.
Number 9 is paranoia. The attuned user is convinced for the next 2 days that someone or something is out to get them and is following them closely. If people are using the madness system, this gives them a point of madness. Again, this could stack. And number 10, which you definitely
Oh,
do not want to roll, is Shadow of Death hang over thee. Until the next dawn, the attuned user cannot make death saves and will instantly die if they reach
oh
0
my
hit
God.
points. So if you roll, if the roll from the DM screen hits a 10, you might feel you. Ugh. As a DM, I probably would give clues on if they rolled a 10 though. Like you feel like the pull of the grave sort of thing. So you might want to take things easy for a bit.
Imagine you'd like. I would interpret that as you'd see the ghost of Christmas Future from the Muppets Christmas Carol. That
Yeah.
was strangely terrifying.
But yeah, I've the
That's some good curses right there.
yeah, and the entry for my library Mysticana, if you will, sort of like an in-universe book. The Tragic Coin is a novel, useful magical trinket, useful to all of those from all walks of life, much like a mundane coin. However, coins have 2 sides, and the Tragic Coin is no exception. Akin to a monkey's paw, using it will usually bring disaster to its user in one form or another, occasionally with deadly consequences. One can tell it's a tragic coin by its head's side. Though these coins differ from region to region to match the common minting of coins of the area, the head's face will always appear to be more depressed than normal. The difference is subtle, but a numismatic, that's a person who studies coins, or appraiser will be
Right.
able to tell on inspection. So it's not something you don't necessarily even need to sort of identify it with magic. You can kind of tell if you know your coins. that something's a bit off about this coin. Have any particular?
Okay, so it's this at least there is a way that certain characters might see something a bit amiss about it.
Yes. Yeah, we've got a question from chat. About
Oh,
your horse. About your horse.
my horse, yes.
Do they have any particular weaknesses?
Um, no, not unfortunately. So because I was thinking of them as like biological animals rather than um
Hmm.
magical things, they are killable as any other horse might be.
Yeah.
Um, but the difficulty would be the way I write them up, they're done in packs. Although, to be fair, if you're a DM that likes using a bit of flavor, um, a lot of animals, at least from what we know, are really freaked out by big fires.
Hmm.
So there's absolutely no reason why a large fire wouldn't, in theory, be more than enough to frighten them away.
Yeah.
But in terms of mechanical weaknesses, there is no resistances or immunities or vulnerabilities to them.
Hmm.
They're very much part of the natural world.
That makes sense. Cool. Right. So those are your homebrews for the week. They will be available in the Discord.
Yes, could just ask, would you have a name for the chat member that
Yeah,
first asked
it's
question? Because
Aegis. It's
that's
Aegis. They might be
Aegis.
probing. Lol. Hello.
That's fine. No, that's okay. No, thanks for asking. That's then any other questions in chat as well? We're more than happy to answer as
Yep.
long as they're not like
But
not
yeah.
legally uh implicating questions. Yeah,
But yes. So
carry on. Yeah, so what?
that's our homebrew of the week. Rolling for regret. Do we have any stories this week?
Oh yes.
Rolling for regret.
Uh, Not this week, but I'm thinking of selling a lot of my stuff though.
Hmm.
Like a lot of my stuff.
Just
So
trying
it's
to
for
like
armies I'll
spring.
probably never build.
Ah, yeah.
Yes. Yes. I'll keep the sprues. I like the sprues.
Hmm.
I've got some stuff I forgot I have, so I'll probably enjoy that. But some of them I'm thinking, you know, uh Space Marines mostly, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't dislike them. I don't. But I just don't I find them hard to get enthused by as a faction because they're on every poster.
Yeah. They feel a bit too
I
sort
know
of
they win games.
pushed.
I know they win games. I know they win tournaments and they get support forever. But I'm just not
Hmm.
enthused with Space Marines as I used to.
Yeah.
And I've tried to get. I just kind of can't.
Hmm.
I find myself looking at third party stuff, or even if it's Games Workshop stuff, it's like the weirdo factions like Medinci the Cults, like the Crypt Keeper,
Hmm.
and the Flayed Court. I love that. They're great. I just find it hard to get into Space Marines, and I
Yeah.
have a fair few boxes unopened and unloved and gathering
Hmm.
dust, and I want
It's
to kind of flog them
yeah.
and get money.
It's kind of why I like thematically Grey Knights because they are kind of Space Marines, but at least I don't know. They're less pushed and they're a bit more interesting, so to speak.
And we'll give you that. I do like their weapons a lot, like a
Hmm.
lot, because they'll have like fancy power glaives and stuff. It just, yeah, just I'm looking at stuff. I'm thinking, will I ever actually build this?
Yeah.
And a lot of the answer is no. Um, so some of it may be going.
Fair enough. So,
Anything you've picked up?
um, so my rolling for regret lately, ooh, hmm, is gosh, trying to like really think because it was on the tip of my tongue earlier, and I was thinking, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say, but I can't. It's now sort of skipped my mind again. Um, oh, yeah, I think my rolling for regret is I haven't really made a conscious effort to paint things or try and join any groups to get some games in lately. So I've got all these minis and I'm
Yeah.
just not doing a whole lot with them. So kind of the same problem as yourself. But Yeah, it's like you're
Yeah,
just not using the
I
minis.
get that. I've, I've been trying to find another non-Games Workshop game to use them in. Is my
Hmm.
thing. Um, I have been. I don't know where I got a free PDF for it, but it's very good. There's a game called Dragon Rampant that I really like. It's just so happens to be Osprey,
Yeah.
because Osprey is brilliant. So, miniatures agnostic for a start. So any range you've got, you
Hmm.
can judge it up and use it. It is basically a pretty rules light and decent um, fantasy skirmish game or battle game.
Uh-huh.
And rather than have like strict units, it's got unit types or
Interesting.
archetype types.
Hmm.
So it's great. So because I've been, that box of 20 goblins as mentioned, I've been thinking of using them for it because they'll fit
Oh.
a nice archetype very nicely.
Hmm.
But so if you want to pick a unit, you could have like, let's say you've got an old box of Warriors of Minas Tirith from
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings range. You could field them as either elite foot or heavy foot.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like loose archetypes for units rather than the strict unit. And I'd love to use the goblins for that because there's a lot of ways you can interpret miniatures with it. I think it's a really great game.
Hmm.
But once I'm done with this, I'm working on some Urukai Scouts for D&D for Hobgoblins.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get working on the goblins after that, maybe one at a time, because I think it's a really neat little system, and I kind of want to give it a go.
Hmm.
And it can be done with pretty much any skirmish size as well. So it doesn't have to be a massive amount of miniatures for it.
Hmm.
Just like in Warhammer terms, be like Warhammer Fantasy terms, it'd be like if you had obviously a commander and a couple of units, you could call that a game and you can have a decent go of it.
Yeah.
Which out of one box, like the one I've bought, I can get exactly that. So I can make the money go stretch a bit further and actually use the miniatures I've got, and rather than think, right, that's box one done. Now I need to buy another 10, and then 30 more. So if I stretch it out over 3 months, I might have a workable army.
Mhm.
I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Right. So, um, what's up next?
Our final thing is our fantasy film recommendations and section. Have
Oh
you watched
yes,
anything
yes.
interesting lately?
Um, interesting. Yes, I wouldn't say it's good. I've been watching clips from the whatever Doctor Who's trying to be nowadays.
Oh.
Don't waste your time. don't don't do it. It's not worth it. Um,
Mm.
but for actual movies, I do have a good one I would like to recommend.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I might have, I don't think I've mentioned it before. Apologies if I have. Rain of Fire. It's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's an early Russell Crowe Christian Bale movie. It's a Christian Bale movie at least. So 2002 was made. Really cool premise. So it's technically sci-fi, but it's very low-end sci-fi, so low tech.
Uh-huh.
It's so the setting is Earth, just Earth. But for whatever reason, we discovered that dragons are natural creatures and they do in fact exist. Um, and it's implied that they kind of killed a lot of people because the people that are left are hiding away in what was it, like literally back to living in castles and reusing them or hiding
Oh.
underground and stuff. And honestly, it's a really fun idea. It's not an amazing movie, but it is a
Mm.
really fun movie. I might just go, there was something here. This was a really cool idea, and it's not a bad execution. Um, so yes, it's set in Scotland, which not a lot of movies are set there for some reason. Just an odd
Mm.
thing. Um, and the main plot is there's a castle full of survivors which are mostly surviving by keeping quiet.
Mm.
Um, they come under attack, as is sort of normal. The dragons are just like sort of like a swarm of insects in this universe, rather than like rare things. There's maybe a couple of big dragons, but loads of little hatchlings.
Hmm.
Um, and they're trying to put out fires and not get burnt alive. Um, and they're bailed out by a group of Americans that are trying to figure out the best way to kill dragons.
Yeah.
So they roll up in their tanks, and there's a bit of cultural sort of falling out because they're trying to start themselves on being dragon hunters, and this castle full of people is just trying to not die.
Hmm.
Um, Honestly, quite a good bit, quite a good little film. I'm not sure it got a massive amount of success when it originally came out,
Hmm.
which is a shame because I could have liked to have seen a bit of a sequel. It had a reasonably interesting PS2 tie-in, which was on a demo
Okay.
disc I had for some reason. Yeah, it's kind of great. Graphics are even for the time, they weren't that good, but it
Hmm.
was a fun game because you either had to do like escort missions or shoot down dragons, or you could play as the dragons and you could set fire to props and stuff, or
Hmm.
destroy tank columns and stuff. It was honestly a really fun little game.
Yeah.
Um, honestly, yeah, I recommend it as a game, as a movie that's interesting and you can watch it with your brain off.
Hmm.
And you want to see an early Christian Bale movie, like it's honestly pretty solid.
Hmm. Oh, crikey.
Have you seen anything worth watching lately? Or
So it's not a fantasy film, but I have been watching. I've watched the first half of Hacksaw Ridge this week, which is a war film. Which
oh
it's
yeah,
the kind of war film that really doesn't pull its punches whatsoever. Also, thank you for the honk, Sandbard. Yeah, it's the kind of war film that really doesn't pull its punches at all, and really goes into sort of the nitty gritty of it, which I think is probably worth a watch if you're the sort of person who plays things like Bolt Action, to get like a real sort of immersive, no holds barred feel of what it's like to be in war of that time period. Because it is
I don't.
bloody, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm imagining like scenes of extras clutching blood bags, calling out for their mothers.
Mm.
Lots of that. Or is that more D-Day style stuff? Am I
No,
thinking
that
of?
there's definitely some aspect of something similar of that because the main character's a combat medic, so he sort of
Oh, okay,
yeah. The concept is the guy's like a pacifist who joined to help people rather than sort of gun people down.
right.
And the whole thing is like going up to people, desperately trying to get people back to the medical camp they've set up before they
Right.
die. It really doesn't pull any punches. Really, really raw.
Okay, I do quite like more war movies like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but I did see 1917 when that was in cinemas, and I quite like that one as well.
Yeah, but it
Because again, it
stars.
was.
Yeah, it stars Andrew Garfield. The former Spider-Man.
Oh yes, yes.
So,
Was this before or after Spider-Man for him?
I think 2016. So
Yeah, post Spider-Man,
yeah,
I think.
I think just barely.
I suppose it's quite good for an actor to
Mm.
not be typecast as a comic book man forever.
Yeah.
Was it one of the first the actor who played Batman in the 1989 film
Mm.
struggled horribly with that
Yeah.
because remember he made Birdman, which I quite liked, which was a so it was a I think it was almost, I think he was doing making the film out of spite, because he made this film about an actor who played Birdman 30 odd years ago, you know, and he is trying to make it big as a genuine, like more of a classical artist and playwright. but it's just not working out because everyone sees him as, oh, it's Birdman.
Mm.
Um, and he's being haunted, not literally, he's seeing
Yeah.
like having hallucinations of like his old character, like literally and fit like professionally and metaphorically haunting him, but just because he's not getting the success as himself.
Mm.
I don't feel that Michael Keaton was really sort of putting himself into that role.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for him though, because the next thing he did was the I want to say the second Flash film with Ezra Miller,
Oh yes.
where he got roped into playing Batman again.
Yeah.
It's a bit cruel there, really. I think,
Yeah.
because he
But
spent so much time trying to not play Batman, and
yeah,
because he played it in
gets
1989, did it well, but
yeah, and then winds up having to play Batman again.
sucked right
Yeah.
back in because money has to happen.
But yeah. Anyway, this is film is directed by Mel Gibson, so you know it's good because
Oh yeah.
Mel Gibson movie, and it's actually
Yes,
based on a book by Terry Benedict called The
yes.
Conscientious Objector, which is so yeah,
Okay.
a good director based on a probably very good book.
Yeah. One thing I will say about Mel Gibson, despite his reputation online for being a bit strange sometimes,
Mm,
he's been in some very fun movies early career,
mm,
but I don't think he gets quite enough credit for his war movies, which are. He also did. He did a Vietnam era war film as well.
mm,
We Were Soldiers.
mm,
Honestly, very again. It's got that tone of it really captures the mood of Vietnam, and it doesn't. And it does show a bit of the propaganda, but it shows the soldiers as just boys and men uh, being sent over to fight or joining up to fight because they've saw a poster or seen a recruiting officer and they've been sold these ideas. When it gets to the actual combat, it's really brutal because you see because it's a lot of soldiers dropping in by helicopter, uh, fighting Viet Cong, who are really well written because that in like an earlier war movie they might have been written as comically, evil or
mm.
one-sided. But they're written as just was as they were people literally defending their home country from Americans who were actually trying to. It totally were invading them.
Yeah,
You see them writing,
yeah.
writing letters
Sandbard says
about
first open engagement for the Americans. They believe. I think that tracks. Yeah.
yes, that checks out. Um, there's this quite this it's like a haunting scene where there's the soldiers writing a letter to someone, effectively saying he's going to probably die today.
Yeah.
You just sort of had this feeling. You see the Viet Cong were doing all this planning and tunnel digging,
Mm,
and you know the Americans aren't depicted as comically evil either.
mm,
They're just portrayed as people sold on propaganda.
mm. It's
Uh,
haunting, isn't it?
but
'Cause,
they suffer as much as the Viet Cong do,
yeah.
which is I think is a really clever touch. I
How do
mean, it's Mel
you
Gibson in the movie.
yeah? How do you
Carry on.
write as a character as a person? How do you write a letter knowing you're going to die?
I think you have to be very sure,
Yeah. I mean, it's like
but I haven't been in that position to
yeah.
know.
It's like it, it must be terrifying. It's like, what do I write? There's probably a million things I want to say, and
Oh,
not
yeah,
enough time to say them.
quite. And the thing is, as well, the character that does that isn't. He barely gets many lines
Mm,
in the movie. He's not a main character. He is one of many Viet Cong fighters.
yeah,
So when you actually do see the Americans do fighting, they're fighting a lot of literally random civilians with whatever
yeah,
rifles they've got. And once they're done with the opening battles, right, they think they've won. They've killed a lot of Viet Cong. A lot of them have run away. But it always cuts back to the rest of the Viet Cong hiding underground because they've been digging. Because it happened as well. The real war, they dug holes and trenches and everything underground. They could choose to fight the Americans whenever they wanted. So the Americans go on thinking we've seen off the enemy. That's it. We've won.
mm,
And no, that was not the case at all. Towards the end of the film, is this minor character you see writing this letter at the start, because this all happens in like in the course of like 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he's into a desperate one-man bayonet charge, and he doesn't look like a hard man either. He looks like the kind of guy you'd see in an office,
Mm.
just a regular man on the street. And he does this bayonet charge, screaming his lungs out. He gets brutally machine gunned down. And then in any other war movie, it wouldn't matter because you know it's an
Yeah.
American war movie. If you're seeing it, probably American.
Yeah.
So what? Another enemy soldier dead. But because you've seen just even one scene or this minor character, you know, doing something to humanize him, that just like the soldiers he's fighting, he's pressed into it as well. His death actually has a little bit of weight to it.
Mm.
Um, I do think that, as a general, Mel Gibson actually very good with war movies. I don't think it gets picked up on enough.
Mm. And on that potentially literal
Yes.
bombshell, depending on your view of war movies,
Hey,
I think it's time to end the stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, don't forget to check out the
thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Discord. We will be at UK Games Expo. Join us there in a couple of
Oh
weeks or
yeah.
so. And yeah,
Yes. One other thing I will do. Do we? Right. I'm not looking at the. I can't now see the chat from here.
mm.
Is your Discord some of the best place to lump videos and stuff? Because I'm going to put up the footage of the mascot race from the day. If anyone wants to see me do my best Sonic impression, the Birmingham Run.
Yeah,
So just a bit,
feel free to put it in the Discord. Put it probably
I'll drop
in
enough there.
other Picto chat is probably good for Picto chat and review. I should probably rename that as like pictures and videos, right?
Oh, that's
Anyway.
fine. It's just looking for a way to drop it because it's very goofy, and I just think it might be worth a chuckle or two. Right, thanks. Thank you for listening to us ramble
Yep.
on, and have a lovely week.
Yeah, we're gonna raid Melon, so exclamation mark. Wait, is it slash raid? Yeah, slash raid. We're gonna raid Melon, give them a big old honk from the goose, and we shall see you guys next time. Bye bye. Love you all. Mwah.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Okay.